Greetings, Macadine family. Camille Shabazz here of Macadine University. And on this Thursday evening, I'm affirming that all is well with you as usual in all of your affairs, and that this brief discussion that I'm about to lay out for you is beneficial to you and your family. There's a lot going on in the world. They're now talking about UFOs are all over, that they're shooting down, which is kind of surprising since UFOs are supposed to be these all-powerful beings. But we know that we're dealing with a deceitful, lying government, and at best, there's nothing but a bunch of holograms going on. But our success lies in being mindful of ourselves during this critical hour. This is the hour not to become scattered, worrying about what's going on the outside, but to be unified and concerned about what's going on the inside. Because on the inside is what's happening. On the outside is nothing but distractions and different avenues to lead you astray. It's also my 90th day being cannabis free, and I must say that I have been damn near clairvoyant since getting off that addiction. Because once again, when you're dealing with mother cannabis, you're supposed to do it ritualistically and not recreationally. It's not something to play with. Mother cannabis will assist you on your path if you use her wisely. But if you abuse her, she will abuse you. And she will abuse you mentally, and she will abuse you financially. So I must say, I've been a lot more clear-headed, and my feelings, I can feel so much intensely now. The thoughts, I'm more in tune with the thoughts and the emotions, not just of myself, but those around me. So if you are out there abusing cannabis, I urge you to cut it out, especially now with all the GMOs that's added to the cannabis. It's not no accident that it's now legal. It's not legal for any reason. It's legal to control the minds of the people. You going down to these shops and they tell you on the back of the bag that this cannabis causes reproductive disorder. They tell you in Sacramento, California, they let you know that this cannabis contains harmful chemicals that may interfere with one's reproduction system. So it's letting you know that not only does it tamper with your mind, but it tampers with your future, your genitals. So we gotta be mindful, brothers, today, because the enemy is coming from every angle imaginable. But the battle is for the mind. So let me go into my subject, which is on wimps. And as I always say during the beginning of my lectures, if you don't have this mighty book right here, I urge you to get it. It's on Amazon. The Book of the Hour. Essential Knowledge for Boys and Men. Essential Knowledge for Boys and Men. And let me just say something else. In the Macadine, we don't do this for the likes. We do this for the love of this work. I do this for the love of this work and the desire to see all men be men. Because being a man today is a lonely, lonely journey. Because when you show any signs of being a strong man, they call you toxic. They refer to a strong man as one suffering from toxic masculinity. And all the men are appearing to go for this. They don't want to say anything to offend anybody. If your son want to wear a dress, if he want to act like a girl, you can't say nothing to him because it's toxic masculinity. If your woman is trying to run over you and disrespect you, you can't check her because it would be termed toxic masculinity. This is the way they are removing the man from his position. And that's why I'm going into the subject of wimps. Wimps. What is a wimp? And I'm going to be coming out of the Macadine, dealing with this in particular subject. Where we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? Chapter 29. Chapter 29 of the Macadine is entitled Wimps. What is a wimp? What is a wimp? Every time I get on, there's always noise going on. Now my daughter want to start hollering. I love you, boo-boo. So it begins. An army of sheep led by a lion would defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. That's an Eastern proverb. Let me repeat that again. An army of sheep led by a lion would defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. According to Webster's Collegiate Dictionary, a wimp is a weak, cowardly, and ineffectual person. Although applicable to either sex, wimp is almost always used to describe a weak man. Although applicable to either sex, wimp is almost always used to describe a weak man. In physics, the word wimp is an acronym for weakly interacting massive particles. Not weakly like the days of the week, but weakly meaning lacking strength. WIMP is an acronym for weakly interacting massive particles. Keep that in mind. Said acronym is right in line with the Macadine teachings in regard to where man's broken condition originates, at the unseen or subatomic levels. Now, in physics, anything that's called massive or big is usually small. For example, they say at the beginning of time, before the creation of all that we see, there took place a Big Bang, referred to as the Big Bang Theory. However, there was nothing big nor nothing bangful about the event because everything started off subatomically, which is unseen, which is so unseen that the naked eye cannot even detect it. So it wasn't big and it wasn't a bang because the so-called bang took place in space where you can't even hear noise. You can't hear noise in space. Everything is on a silent note in space. So, man's weakened state due to mind injuries acquired in the womb of our mothers, referred to in your Bible as the bruising of the serpent's head. Because we're the serpent. Man is the serpent. And that serpentine power is within us. Do you remember the song by Earth, Wind, and Fire, Serpentine Fire? Well, that's talking about the power within us. Because man is serpentine in nature, which is why on the front page or the cover, we have the serpent and we say, be ye wise as the serpent. So back to what I was saying. The mind injuries, man's weakened state due to mind injuries acquired in the womb, has caused him to weakly interact, if at all, with his particle subtle selves, our minds, our brains, our chakras, etc. This is the root cause of his wimpery. The average man is like an 8-cylinder engine running off of just one functioning piston. All the men that you see, for the most part, myself included, are not running on all of our pistons. And that's by design. The educational system, the religious system, and everything that we have been taught has been designed to drain us of our power. So, the womb experience is so valuable that the Chinese count their children 1 year old upon their birth. Not like us who have to be here a year to get a birthday. The Chinese understand that that womb experience is something that you're supposed to count, because everything that happens during that gestation period all around the womb and the thoughts and the actions of the mother has a supreme effect on the baby's life. So, a man who's the product of a healthy gestation period, absent superstition, religion, violence, lies, that is dysfunction, has a natural propensity to a mindset and lifestyle which will assure him a life devoid of a wimpy existence. Check that out. A man or woman who's the product of a healthy gestation period, absent superstition, which is religion, violence, lies, that is dysfunction, has a natural propensity to a mindset and lifestyle which will assure him a life devoid of a wimpy existence. There is a Sufi order of Muslims whose practice it is to spin themselves very speedily in circular motions. They are known to the world as whirling dervishes. Whirling dervishes. If you get a chance, look up the whirling dervishes. So said practice of them spinning in circles is a primitive attempt at particle acceleration via the mechanical creation of a human vortex. That's the equivalent of trying to drive a car the way in which the Flintstones drove their cars via their feet. Can't do it. You can't get that particle acceleration that way. It's all mental. So since coming forth from a depreciative womb experience, man's natural propensity towards a strong relationship with his subatomic cells, the interior self, has been short-circuited, and he's been reduced to a life of minimal power. That's the average man, which has been exploited by the wise, rich, and powerful via false education and the concoction of religion. Man is now in need of a particle accelerator designed personally for you and I, because wimps come in all shapes, colors, and classes. Why do you think suicide is so rampant among rich men and women? They appear strong and in charge on the outside, but lack the necessary charge on the inside. Money, referred to as currency, doesn't really give man the current that he needs. Like a light switch, it opens up the current pathways or frees a man up to be able to self-develop, as opposed to a man whose life is used solely to feed himself and family, pay bills, etc., as illustrated in Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you know anything about Abraham Maslow, he talks about these levels of a man's needs and how when a man is at the bottom just trying to survive, he's not able to self-develop and make himself the creature he's designed to be. As they would say, living your best life and being your higher and most highest self that you can attain. Being wealthy gives you that ability. So, the temporary bursts of energy or high attained from money achievement, like drugs, sometimes later produces a crash or depression. This is why he works himself at the expense of his health and marriage and family to keep generating it. But he doesn't recognize until it's too late that despite all of his financial wealth, he is still a wimp, a modern day eunuch, a Quasimodo, an alfalfa or dodo. When such reality crashes upon him, it's overwhelming And then comes suicide physically, but not realizing that a slow suicide has been taking place ever since the womb. The Macadine has the formula to jumpstart and charge the wimp on any level he may find himself. So, brothers, if you are in that wimpy state of mind, you're not respected by your family, you're not respected in society, and you just feel weak and ineffectual, that's not an accident. Because as I've been saying, from the womb, from the very womb, through the chemicalization of what the mother eats and the surrounding environment of the toxicity that comes from the music, comes from the television, and comes from her wicked way of life, the child comes out with that propensity towards being a wimp. And today, as you see with Dwayne Wade's son, in 50% of high schools, you have all these boys who think they are girls, or all these boys who want to be girls. And it's no accident. It is no accident. But us strong men, I don't give a damn if it's just 5 of us against 5,000. Stand up. Stand up against all which is wimpy and all which is simpy. Because if you don't, you will find yourself with that same disease and disorder. So do everything in your power, brothers, to not be a wimp. And as we talk about in the Macadine, establish your own library, your own personal book containing your I am statements. Because whatever comes after the words I am, that you are. Whatever you write following I am, your subconscious mind takes that as being true. Remember that. Nothing that you say via the pen goes unacknowledged by the subconscious mind. And in time, that mind will manifest it in the flesh. What's up, Brother Charles? What's up, Brother Lamont? Peace. Thank you for listening. Brother Charles, I need you to contact me on Messenger, my brother. I tried to get with you earlier so we can get the ball rolling. Got to get the ball rolling. But I appreciate you, brothers, for listening. And I'm never long, but the goal is to always be strong and to deliver this message to the men out here who are most in need of it. Because it's not about the numbers. Because there's an old parable where the shepherd left all the other sheep just to find the one sheep that was lost. And that's the mission of the Macadine, brothers. So thank you for listening. Have a wonderful evening. Be safe in those vicious and wicked streets. More later, salute and peace.